Welcome back to the Daily Show where I'll be breaking down the stock market. So, before we get started, please hit that like button and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Now, if you want to support the channel and get all types of daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of long term and short term setups, definitely check out my link down in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into the market. All right, so welcome back, and we got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. And if you want to take a screenshot, go ahead and do that. We got lots of earnings next week, starting with Boeing on Tuesday morning, UPS, GM, RTX. We have ASML on Wednesday morning, AT&T. Then we have Microsoft, Meta, Tesla on Wednesday, right after closing. Then we got even more MasterCard, Caterpillar on Thursday morning. RCL, that's another one. Then we have Apple and the hottest stock right now in the market, SanDisk, they will report earnings right after closing on Thursday. Fear and Greed Index, neutral, 52. We got FOMC next week, so that's going to move the market. You can see FOMC on Tuesday, right about 2:30 p.m. You'll have that interest rate decision as well. Actually, Wednesday. That's going to be Wednesday. On the 28th of January, we get Fed interest rate decision, and then the press conference at 2:30 Eastern time, guys. So lots of things coming next week. What market did today, you can see not a lot of things happened today, and VIX again going up. So you can see here Dow going down 0.58%, Nasdaq staying up because of those big names, especially Microsoft was up today, and it's up 0.28%, S&P flat, and Russell took a massive beating. You guys will see later on, a trade that we took on IWM, it was a really good trade. It's down 1.85%, advancing only 31%, declining about 65%. 11 sectors. Basic materials again leading the charge on top. Energy, consumer defensive, and then we have technology on bottom, financial, industrials, healthcare, utilities. Stock market map, you can see Microsoft finally up 3.28%, Nvidia up 1.53%, but then Broadcom and Intel was down with earnings 17%. AMD was up again today, 2.35%. Google down 0.73%. Meta up 1.72%. Netflix finally up 3%. Amazon up 2%. Tesla flat. Apple flat. And you can see financial names, and that's not a good signal for the market. All are down on the day, taking down the ETF, KRE, and then also IWM. And now let's get right into S&P 500. All right, so SPY ETF absolutely flat on the day, and there is a lot of gamma exposure at 690, 691, and also we do have a lot right about 687, and then a lot at 680. So at this point, we saw the big drawdown last week, Tuesday, with the tariff, and then of course Mr. Taco just announcing that he's not gonna be imposing tariff anymore. Market went right back up, almost back up to all-time highs. We're not too far off, so don't think this is a big sell-off and we're just crashing in or something like that, because we're only like $6 away from all-time highs. This is basically trading at all-time highs. I know some people will say, oh, this was the crash and now we're back. This was a nothing. This is a nothing of a pullback. If you're looking for a pullback, this was nothing, even though we ate the dip. And you guys will see a lot of the plays later on that we took, and market came right back up. So what is next and what's going to happen next week? Well, you saw how financial did today. It was really horrible. So the market breadth, especially today, it wasn't actually good. You saw KRE coming down. IWM finally gave back a lot of the gains. It was down nearly 2%. So next week, if this thing cannot get over this, I mean, we did close right on that previous all-time high support. I mean, pretty much right there, 689. And if we can stay over that, we could possibly see a move up to this 694 to even 700. But as of right now, I just don't see that happening unless we can stay over 689 clearly come Monday morning and next week. Now, if things are going to gap down come Monday again, watch out for this key support right here, 685. That gives up. We will be lending down here at 682 and then 680 all the way down to right here at 674, which is going to be a long way down and a new lower low on this daily trend count, which we just made a lower low, and this would be a new low if we do that come next week. On triple Q was slightly up on the day, but you can see it got up to 625, immediately rejection came back in, and now it's holding just over that 620, this 20-day moving average. So for the bulls, I think tech can get some exposure, but you can see the Bollinger Band are trading really close to the price of triple Q. So something big is about to happen, guys. And you can see VIX, even though it came down from 21, it's not really giving up all the gains and just crashing down to like $13 like it did before. So VIX still, I mean, it's elevated, but again, it's really low to the point I would say we're not too far off all-time highs, especially on S&P and some of the other products. But look at right here, Nasdaq cannot even produce a brand new all-time high. And when you see, these types of moves in the market, usually something will break. And so far, we're just not seeing what actually broke inside, but I think very soon we'll find out. And I think a lot of people will acknowledge that something actually broke. Injecting all that money, Fed injecting all that money into financial system, into the banking system. So what is the stress? What the heck is going on? And I think the answer will come out very soon. And not to mention what's happening around the world in with Trump tariff and all that. Basically, people, us, we are paying for the tariff. Now, yes, we are getting inflation numbers, which is low, but we all know that inflation is still really high, and those are just cooked up numbers. So going into Monday morning, that 620 has to hold. Underneath that 617, 613, and then possibly down here 610 to 606.85 on triple Q, which you can see Tuesday was perfect right here. It came down and it held the support. You can see right here, and again right here, this trend line you can see right on my screen. To the upside, if things are going to continue, we get over 625 come Monday or next week sometime, we can go all the way back up to 630, and possibly at that point we'll make, or at least we'll go on and retest previous all-time highs right here on triple Q. So watch out, lots of things are coming next week, and I think with big earnings, if Nasdaq is going to break out to all-time high or at least retest, this is it. This is the time with Microsoft, Apple, or Meta, or even Tesla. This is it. It has to do it this week, upcoming week. You're gonna see all-time highs or possibly a range breakout or a big breakdown here on Nasdaq 100. And here's my X account. And if you guys are on there, definitely give me a follow. And there is no subscription, nothing here. It's totally free. Now, I want to share some trade ideas from last week, and it was a really fantastic week. You can see GTLB 500 shares picked up on 115th. And on Thursday, which was yesterday, 122.26, it was up $4 per share, which was fantastic. We took profit on that play. Snow shares we picked up at 205, sold at 214. Here's another one that was absolutely beautiful, just holding 2 3 nights, and that was it. Here's another one, ARM shares, and also you can see 150 calls for June 17th, 2027. We took some profit on this play, and this one is up. Again, it was up yesterday on Thursday, and it was up even more today, but then gave back some of those gains. But the position is still green, and we took profit, some profit yesterday. This is the best one. Thursday, took these puts at 270 to 71, 266 puts on IWM. And just go and have a look at that one today, guys. It's in the money, over the money. It was a really fantastic trade idea on IWM that we collected a massive premium today. So if you're really, and I mean it, really serious about trading, if you're just browsing, this is not for you. Do not even bother, looking at it. If you're really serious about trading and you want to do this full time, definitely check out my link down in the description for Patreon. On Dow Jones is down 0.5%, and this one yesterday again we almost went back up to all-time highs, almost. And guess what? This one you guys did not see. We took puts again yesterday on Dow, and this thing paid again today, just holding overnight. And these are like few weeks out swings in collecting a profit today immediately, guys. We had a gap down. We were not able to fill the gap at 492.46. Also, we have a gap down here, which we did not fill on that gap down last week on Tuesday. So you can see that 489.66 so far holding. We have the 20-day moving average right there, and it's holding at 490. So as long as we're over 489.66, we can possibly go up and fill the gap at 492.46. And if this thing gets over that, we might see another all-time high. But you can see how tight these Bollinger Bands are, getting close to the price of DIA. If this thing breaks below 689.66, we could be heading lower down to that 484, and maybe even fill the gap right below, right there at 483.95. We also have support below that 50-day moving average, which is sitting right about 481.57 to 480. On IWM, it's down 1.85% and still going down now at 264. I think it was at 263 right after closing. So IWM, you guys saw that play. And this is one of the big play that we took yesterday. One of the fantastic play of the week. This was a really good trade for the week. And you can see this thing from all-time highs where we got in yesterday dropped. Huge drop. $5 drop on IWM. That is big money. And you can see now we gapped down today, was not even able to fill that gap. We have a gap below 270, and we do have now confluence from this 20-day, which is sitting at 258. Previous all-time highs right here at 258. And I think that's where IWM is going, unless we see some sort of a gap up and go to fill the gap at 269.42, and then IWM flips back to the downside, which I don't know if that's the case, going into next week. We can definitely come down here and retest this support. And this thing was going straight up. So if it's coming down, it does not mean that we're just going to crash. So far, we need to see if the support can hold at 258. So this is the key level right here. But before that, maybe look out here right about 262 if this thing can hold. But definitely now there will be resistance at 266. And over that, we could see a push all the way back up to that gap just under 270 on IWM. So on silver and gold, we need to talk about it, and that's why I have it here. And I think it makes sense, that stock market update, we should include silver, gold, dollar, all the stuff that is actually moving. And again, another brand new all-time high would not even stop even after hour. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, look at this monthly chart. This is just next level. It's insane. I mean, we're not even into end of this month yet, and this thing is up again, huge, massively. And forget about just going up, guys. Usually, when things just gap up and go, gap up and go, at some point you see some sort of a pullback retracement, at least for a day or two. But look at right here, non-stop going. And why? Because the dollar coming down. So, are we about to see some sort of a blow off top? Absolutely, it can happen. You saw what happened to SanDisk today. It came down, I think, $40, $50, right? So it can definitely come down 10, $15 easily. Silver here, you can see, I mean, it's trading into blue skies. Huge. So Monday, if this thing gaps up, maybe goes closer to 95, maybe 96. Look at the gap from today, 87.52. Gap from, I think this was Tuesday, gap up and go. We came back on Trump's tweet, and the market went up, but we did not fill the gap. This is insane. And then now another gap up and go. So from only last week, we have two gaps, 81.52, 87.52 from Friday. And who knows, there might be another gap up come Monday morning. So when you see these types of moves in the price of silver, and then another one, GDX, gold, look at this one. closing at a brand new all-time high, which is insane. So this one, we have a gap at 97, 93, and it's still going. So when you see these types of things happening, there is a reason. Something happened. I mean, people are running for these things. There is a reason, and you're seeing, Bitcoin and especially crypto market is dead, right? Not much happening. Look at the dollar here, guys. This is the concern here. Look at the dollar. Look at that drop on dollar, and when you look at this monthly time frame, well, look at where dollar is actually trading from this low to this low to this low. Again, we're back down to 97.46 because if this trend line gives up, we could be going towards that 94, maybe even lower. And if the dollar is crashing, what's going to happen, guys? It's not a good signal for the market if the dollar is getting crushed. And the dollar came down. I mean, look at these candles, especially daily. Look at today's huge underneath the Bollinger Band closing today. And that is just insane. So here's another one, VIX. We need to talk about VIX, and it's just going insane right now that this thing had that massive run. Remember, I was warning you guys that, market at all-time high, we cannot afford to go long. And this was that warning that I was talking about. You can see what happened here, guys. I mean, $21, right? Huge, huge move from 13. It was going slower here, and then it just picked up. Also, when we bought the dip, a lot of the dips in the market, this thing came down because we know now that anything Trump says, few days later or maybe within a week or two, as long as you have some time on your option or if you're buying shares, of course you can hold. Mr. Taco is just gonna do the opposite things, and this is exactly he did, but this time it took only like 2 3 days. Just past weekend, everything is normal. And what happened? This thing came down, crushing, and look at what happened. We came close to 15. Now we closed over 16. So technically, it's looking good right here. This thing can spike back up again. So be careful. If this thing holds 16, we might be going back up to 18, maybe 21, 23, 80, possibly even higher, because market still did not give up any gains. There was no like big correction. Daily trend did not flip to the downside completely yet. So we have to see a lot of things, and we'll see how things play out with FOMC next week. And I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great weekend. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you.